In this video, we're going to talk about the call stack. The call stack is an area of memory that Java uses to keep track of where it's going and where it needs to go back to. So we saw in some of our methods, we called the method completed, and it had to go back to the spot where the method was called originally. And Java does that by keeping track of some information in something called the call stack. And it's called a stack for a reason. Probably the best way to describe a stack is to tell people to think of a stack of pancakes. If I'm making pancakes and I make the first pancake, I stick it on a platter. I make the second pancake and stick it on a platter, then the third one, then the fourth one, then the fifth one. And then somebody decides to get a pancake because they want to eat. They grab the one off the top. So the last one that was stuck on the platter is the first one that was pulled off. The last one on the stack is the first one that comes off when we're going the other way. So a call stack works just like a stack of pancakes. So let's look at this example here. The main method got invoked. We have an activation record for the main method that gets put on the call stack. These variables get put on the stack as well. Although when we look in our debugger, we'll actually see those separately. And we've already looked at the variables while we trace through our program. When I'm done talking about this, we'll actually look at the call stack as it runs inside this program that we're going through right now. Eventually, we called that max method. So the call to the max method got put on that call stack. Okay, so now as the program's running, we know it's running up in this method. When it's done, the method gets executed, and when it's done, it gets returned. This comes off the stack, and we go back to the place where it was called. When the main method quits running, then the stack will be empty. And we can trace that through. So here's what happens. Trace the call stack. We initialized I, it got put on the stack. We initialized J, it got put on the stack. Initialized K, it got put on the stack. Then we invoked the max method. At that point, we got a reference on the stack up here to the max method, and number 1 and number 2 got put onto the stack. And we saw that happen with the variables. We declared a variable called result, which was put on the stack. We went through our logic of our program here. We assigned a value to that result variable. Okay. And then we returned the result. And when we did, it came back to the place that we called it and got assigned to this letter K. And that call to the method got removed from the stack. Okay. And we executed the print statement, and that was the end. So let's actually take a look at that. So we traced through this in the last video. We traced through this and we watched the variables window, and we saw those variables. So let me restart this. We saw the variables as we went through here. This time I'm going to go to window, debugging, and I'm going to turn on call stack. So now you can see our program's already running and we're in the main method. Our variables window is actually separate in this debugging, so we can look at them separately. And as we go through here, so I'm going to use step into. So I and J got created. We're still in the main method, but I'm going to step into this next one. And now we went to max, and you can see the max in line 22, that's where we're at on the stack now. So this method call got put on top of the stack, and also the variables got put onto the stack. And we can trace through here. Go through. Once the max method gets done and the results are returned, it came off of the stack, and we're back in the main method here. We're going to do the things in the main method, and then when the program ends, it gets removed from the stack. All right, so that's probably not as big a deal when you're troubleshooting. It can be a big deal because methods can call methods, which can call other methods, and sometimes you get lost. Pulling up that stack window is a good way to see how you got to that point in your code. If I'm in some method and it's got a problem, like how did we get here? Where did it come from? Pull up that stack window and look at it, and you can see how you got there. Probably not as valuable when you're first starting out as looking at the variables window, but it's another way to troubleshoot your code.